Ooh, Flyman ran.
Yo, this is Cone from Cone's Graphics, and we are going to get started today, guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you comment down below. We are going to start off with another tutorial, but this time I am going to do a tutorial that has nothing to do with another tutorial I've dropped. I'm actually going to introduce you guys today to Affinity Designer. Start with alright guys, so today we're gonna ahead and go with the iPad again. Once again, I love my iPad Pro. We're gonna work with the pencil today. Let's start my screen recording. I'm actually gonna show you guys probably a walkthrough. I'm working on a client project right now for a logo. I want to make sure I show you guys today basics, how to make shapes, how to create lines, how to connect lines, how to close them, how to add color, and how to do text. And maybe a little bit of color grading. We'll see what happens from here. But we're going to go ahead and get started. And make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Delicious again today. Affinity Designer was actually one of my most requested apps to use, or apps to go over and to show as far as making tutorials. So I actually been using Affinity Designer for over 3 years now. I found this program as a replacement to Illustrator and Photoshop. And when I was researching the company, I found out that I just loved everything about it. And then I was already on my iPad using the pencil. So it just made it way much more easier to use. Learning curve, of course, but I do not know a lot of people that use Affinity Designer, which makes it even more sentimental to me because I use it all the time for all. If you see any banners that I make on my videos, or any logos that's been placed in any of the videos that I create, I'm usually using Affinity Designer. You can make text flyers, you can create all types of graphic design materials on Affinity Designer. So today I'm gonna start with an inspiration for this logo. So what I did was I pulled up my photos to click and drag and import into Affinity Designer. Got access to everything. And then there's another way to import photos. There is
Ooh, Flyman ran.
First menu button at the top. Export. I know there's an import in here somewhere.
Cone's Graphics.
Oh, place image. That's what it's called. So you can go from cloud to photos, and if you choose photos, all your photos will pop up, so that way you can click and drag them in there. I always have reference points when I'm designing projects. So another easy thing, you can maximize and then minimize the photo that you import. These are majority of the functions on. There's 3 personas, if I'm not mistaken, 1, 2, and 3. 2 and then 3. I'm usually in this persona when I'm designing. I go to this persona when I'm wanting to create some sketches or some doodles, and then this first persona is mainly for pen tool, right? But I am actually speaking of that persona, always make sure I'm in the correct tool that I want to use first before I grab the object. And then if you're familiar with a cake, I compare it to like a cake. If you're familiar with how a cake is made, the best way to explain layers is each layer consists of that piece of cake, right? And whether or not you can see it depends on what you do to edit that layer, right? So think of when you're designing, you can put things on top of each other, which is called layers. That's probably the best way to explain it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new layer. We're going to do a pixel layer, and I'm actually going to pull up the second persona. And then down here, with that tool selected, you have your erase tool, and then it looks like that's a marker tool. You can change the way the outcome is of the marker tool with these settings. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to black. And with that logo idea, I had a couple of ideas for like a sketch, a rocket. I'm just going to kind of recreate this now because I want to show you guys the basics. So say for example, I get my design done XYZ, right? We just created a new layer. That's our pixel layer, right? Hit the check mark, it goes away. Hit the check mark, it stays there. I'm going to recreate this rocket that I just drew, right? What helps me is take the pixel layer down, change the opacity on it by going to your layer options. And I'm just going to make it a little bit lighter so I can trace over with the pen tool. So we went from our sketch persona to our design persona. Now I'm going to create with the pen tool. I'm going to create, I think of it as shapes, right? You can manipulate shapes with the pen tool. You can make them to a star. You can make them into a circle. It's just, I always tell myself be smarter than the computer when it comes to being creative, right? Bend them, break the rules, see what you can do with those aspects and those shapes that you created, and then I'll eventually show you guys the color portion. So let's say for example, I'm going to tap on the screen, tap again and tap again, and then in order to close it, I'm going to tap again, and that closes that triangle shape we just made, right? So we just made a solid three-sided shape. Now with this nod tool, what you can do is you can take, these are called nods, you can take those and change them into different shapes as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to manipulate the shape to look like the sketch, right? Just for tutorial purposes. And I'm going to manipulate that nod and make it just a little circular, right? And then the amazing thing about using the nod tool is right now we currently have 3 on there. I'm going to create maybe like one more just to see if I can get the full shape of that sketch that I drew. So by creating a new nod, I just simply click on a line and a 4th one pops up, which I can eventually manipulate the lines just how I want them. But it's all up to your creativity at this point. How you manipulate things and how you want that outcome to look. So second, we're gonna make these wings. Actually, I'm gonna show you a tool, show you how to duplicate. Oops. But that is how you go to your project files, project files, if you ever click out of it. So we're gonna go back to this project file, and let me show you guys how to duplicate. So we're gonna take these 3 lines at the top, and then there's a button that says duplicate, and once it duplicates, it creates a second layer. So the first layer we had was the sketch, Second layer we had was the middle of the rocket we just made. And then the second layer or third layer we just created was that duplicate layer. So the reason why I duplicated it is because I'm going to manipulate the shape of it and use it as a wing. Might not come out exact, but I'll see what I can do with it. So in order to move the nods, these 4 nods that we have from our duplicated layer, you have to click on the nod tool, which is on the first
Ooh, Flyman ran.
which is on the first persona, right? So I'll move it around. Again, we're trying to manipulate the shape to look like the sketch that I drew. And then we're going to take that and then we're going to duplicate it again. And then there's a couple of options that you can do with the layers that you are selecting. This is like the layer settings or layer effects, I will call it. And this one is to flip it, to transform. Right, you can rotate, flip it, you can change the width, the height, the position, the shear rotation. I'm a button smasher, so I'll mess with some settings up until I like what it looks like, or I'll play around with some settings to learn. That's the best way I usually learn how with these tools, especially with not a lot of people using them. You just got to kind of learn on your own. So currently we have our shape of our rocket. And the 2 wings. So now we're going to replicate the clouds that we made. So take the pen tool to recreate the cloud shape. And let's put it coming right off the rocket, right? So what I do is I take the nod tool right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to manipulate these lines to create like a hump or like a half circle. Making the cloud shape. Kind of, again, we're still going to following the sketch that I created earlier.
Clouds graphics.
Right now, just taking you through my process of how I would create a sketch and then make a final line work of that sketch. And then next, we are going to, you guessed it, add color. So at this point, I'm going to save it. So hit this back button in the top corner and then go back into the project file. I'm going to go to my layers, right? And I'm actually going to unsee the sketch layer that I created because I no longer need it. I will bring it back up sometimes if I need to reference a line or reference something that I use in a sketch. But right now, I'm just going to show you guys how to input the color into the shapes. So right now, individually, I think they are automatically named as curve. But if you hit the 3 lines at the top, you can actually rename the layer. Usually I'm at 1,000 layers on a project, but it just depends. But I like to get right into it. So with that layer selected, actually let me go ahead and show you. So we're gonna hit curve, and then we're gonna type in clouds. Right, keeps myself organized. You hit this back button at the layer options. What we're gonna do is hit this colored circle. Right. This allows you to manipulate the outline color and the inside of the shape as well. So I'm going to make that white for the clouds and then make the inside white for the clouds as well. And then you'll see the shape layer update its color. Next, what color we're gonna do? Let's go red middle, green wings. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys something else new again. I'm gonna take this wing layer, and then if I swipe across another layer, it'll actually allow me to select 2 layers at the same time. So let's do the red wings, right? And then we're gonna do the middle. Let's make it a green. So in order to change the shape, what I did was there's quick colors and then recent colors, and I'm pretty sure, almost positive, that you can adjust these. But let's definitely go over that in another video. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this red dot and I'm gonna choose my green of my choice. I love this. It's flawless the way the colors change and update. I'm in love with this app.
Ooh, Flyman ran.
So let's go to the middle, and then I'm actually going to go to recent colors, and it also changes. If you select this,
College graphics.
there is your rocket and your cloud. Love it. Let's go back and save. And that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment down below. Make sure you share this video with others. Also, if you guys would like me to continue with this lesson, you want to see more from Affinity Designer, or I also have another app for you guys called Affinity Photo, where I do a lot of photo editing that. But if you guys would like to see some more of that, please comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, and then thanks for tuning in. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Peace.